They were like, you dislocated your shoulder playing
kickball.
It's like, does anyone have a gun? Anybody have a gun?
Dude, I love that your coach's tactic was chaos on the base pad.
Subscribe to the podcast, KFC Radio on YouTube.
Bang. Yeah, they asked us.
5 straight
They
years.
told us to clean it up this week, and
I was like, just burn it.
it's not gonna happen.
Burn the whole fucking-
Yeah, it's like when you leave an apartment, you're like, "That I'm not getting my deposit back."
Dude,
There's no way.
I'm about to move again for like the 12th time in 15 years. I'm just throwing everything out again. I'm just starting fresh again.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
I moved out of an apartment a few years ago, and when we left, we were trying to break down a like a closet type deal, and we couldn't break it. So we're like, let's just throw it on the ground. And we're idiots, obviously, so we didn't measure the width of the room. and it just went through a window.
I knew that story.
And
That's
we were like,
fucking
yeah,
great.
you know who I knew it?
No.
Dude, it was Lou, obviously.
That's hilarious.
And so Lou just starts backing out of the room, and he closes the door and goes, "We were never in here." and then we get an email from the landlord being like, "Well, you guys left a shattered window, so I'm gonna knock you, like, for a New York landlord, like an exceptionally reasonable number. Like, so I'm knocking you $200 on the security deposit." And obviously,
Wait, you still
Lou,
got some of your security?
That's
Dude,
insane.
90% of it back. And I was like, in my head, I was like, golden, perfect.
Yeah.
And I went to sleep being like, I'm getting most of the security deposits back. And I woke up to a string of angry emails from Lou being like, I don't know what you're talking about. That window was intact when we left. Right? And the security guy, the landlord just wrote back, all the glass was outside the window.
someone pulled the window.
He's like, someone must have broken it. He's like, it was all on the fire escape, you fucking idiot.
That is great. That's,
Dude.
I mean, New York City security deposits are just a donation.
Yes,
to your
100%.
fucking pocket. It's just what, I mean, I remember being like fresh out of college, and it was like first month, last month, security, broker's fee, and that whole thing where you need to make 40 times the rent. I remember being like, I'm not a millionaire. How am I going to make 40 times 3,000 or whatever the fuck it is?
You have to go on Craigslist and kill somebody in order to have the down payment to get an apartment.
For real.
No
it's
one's
nuts,
ever got
dude.
enough.
Where are
but
you
they
from
prove
originally?
you. I'm from Indiana originally. Don't tell Jordan. She loves to talk about. I was like, you're lying to me right now. There's no way.
Loves
Yeah,
it.
it's crazy.
So you're from there, but you don't love it?
No, I don't dislike
You're just
it.
like,
it's
it's
just
just-
it makes it feel like it's dislike in comparison to how much Jordan loves it.
Well, so we have Jordan. We got another guy, Vibs. We had Pat McAfee for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, they will tell you
Indiana.
that Indiana is like the paradise. It's like some secret Wakanda that you like go into, and it's different than what we really think it is or something. It's fucking crazy.
It's
like,
exactly like
it's just
Wakanda.
Indiana.
That's exactly how I would describe it. That's what I tell people. I initially say I'm from Wakanda. You mean like Indiana? I'm like, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Everyone always like throws like, and myself included, when like they get a Super Bowl or like, I think they had an F1 race or something like that.
Final Four.
Yeah,
I
I was like, in Indiana? And they're like, you haven't been then, because it's perfect.
You gotta experience
it's a great. There's no traffic. There's a ton of great bars. The people are unbelievable.
I'm like, it's just a fucking city.
Not right, dude. These people are lying to you.
Yeah. We went. It's also when you hear things like "there's no traffic," it's like, well, we're just grasping at anything.
Yeah.
The environment's great.
They got fields.
Civic planning is awesome.
You haven't seen sunlight like they've got sunlight. It's up. It's north,
Really
and then
bright,
it
really
comes
bright.
down.
So where are you now?
So I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I lived in Vegas for like 9 or 10 years.
Oh,
so my
that's
parents
like in Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas?
yeah, in Vegas. Yeah, right near all the like near meth. If that's what you're asking me. Like in Vegas. That's code for like. I dabbled.
I don't know what's worse, like living on the Strip or living like away. You know, if you're in somewhere else in Nevada, I feel like it's like that's really weird.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then if you live on the Strip, like I would imagine, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, if you're on the Strip, you're working, but by devious means.
Yeah.
So we were outside of the Strip. My parents moved from Indianapolis to do a air conditioning company out there. So
Good spot. That's good business.
So I felt like, I mean, at least they were, you know,
meth.
Yeah,
and
you know, they're
those
like,
are the
if this
things you
meth
need
thing falls through,
in Las Vegas.
we got to come back to Wakanda. If not. So I lived there pretty much all through high school, and then I lived out in LA when I was like I moved out when I was like 18.
I've only known one other guy who lived in Vegas. and I think it's weird.
And he's dead now, right?
Yeah, I know.
I hate
He's
that
also
guy.
very normal too. So maybe I've made this thing up in my head. But I just feel like living in Vegas has got to be through your childhood too is weird. You know?
Yeah, it's weird. Like you got they put like in casinos, they put like kid things in adult casinos.
So it's like mom and dad can go hit the slots.
Yeah, you gotta dodge a lot of questionable figures to get to like there'll be like a juice place or there'll be like smoothies or there's like a kid's place or bowling or there's movies, but you gotta get through a lot of oxygen tank cords and you gotta it's like an escape room of like that guy's touching me weird, but he's I think he's smoking. I don't know. Like it's a lot of just
so you were in it, like you were
I was in it,
yeah,
dude. I was in it.
That life.
Yeah. So I lived there for a while and because of it I'm actually kind of glad. Like when I go back to Vegas, I don't really indulge in any of the the obscenity. Like I don't really gamble because I've seen too much.
You got exposed to it. You're like a kid who did like tours of duty in war. Like, I've seen it all, man.
That's exactly right. I did. I was right. I don't play Call of Duty. Yeah, in Wakanda. I don't play Call of Duty because I served.
Yeah, it's funny when you live in a place that's like a destination for other people. I mean, you even kind of have it in New York on a level like. When I go to like Grand Central and people are taking pictures and it's just like a train station to me. I'm like, get the fuck out of the way. I got to get to my train. Yeah. And then you look up, it's like beautiful architecture.
Yeah.
People are like, amazed by it. I'm like, move. I got to get to track 42.
I mean, it's true. I mean, the more I've visited New York, the smaller it seemed and the less I've gotten, the stars in my eyes kind of left a little. And not because it's lost its allure. It's just, you're here to do stuff. You're here to, and you become more aware of the people. The more times you're here, you become more aware of like the people around rather than the city and
you mean like the junkies and the drug addicts?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you can say the homeless. It's okay.
I'm uncomfortable. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the homeless is a funny like. That's another thing. When you grow up around it, it's like I don't know. It just becomes like part of the background noise. But
yeah,
everybody when they first get here, it's like I'm gonna save everybody. And
dude, I remember my first time in New York. Dude, I went to like a Catholic boarding school, and I remember like I came to my buddy. My buddy lived in the city, and we came to visit him. And I guess I was going through a phase. I don't remember it where I was a good Catholic boy.
Were you?
And we were like
Catholic phase.
We were like 15 years old and hammered walking around. So I was really about it.
Yeah, and you really committed to it.
Yeah, I was like, you're more Catholic than you know.
And we were kidnapping children. And
you're 15. You're just taking kids.
It's really easy when you're 15.
It's the best way, man.
You gotta hand them off to an older guy later.
That's right, dude. You want to train a dog? You bring a dog.
But we were hammered. We were walking around the streets of New York, and I was like giving like $15 or $5, whatever I was, to like every homeless guy I saw.
You're gonna go broke.
And I was yelling at my buddy, I was like, "You're a bad Catholic. You're not helping him out." He's like, "Shut the fuck up, dude."
I got hustled a couple times, and then I was like, "Never again." This guy. It's like a classic thing. They usually run it where they bump into you on purpose and they drop a bottle of whatever liquor they were drinking. Right?
I've seen that one.
This guy somehow did it to me with his eyeglasses. And his eyeglasses were broken. And I was like, how did you fucking break your eyeglasses from bumping into me? But I was a sucker for it because he really like hustled me good.
What'd he say?
He just like this whole sob story about like I'm unable to see now and I don't have any money to fix it and I need money from you because you broke it. And I was like, oh my God. And then, like see him on the corner, like
just
later, like days later, just fucking normal, not even wearing glasses, just living life.
You gave him enough for LASIK. That's super nice of you, dude.
It's thousands of dollars, dude.
Yeah,
he's getting covered by insurance. There you go.
I would say you got more than a hustle. Dude.
Yeah. Dude, I had someone the other day where it was like they were walking next to me, and it was a girl, and she was on the younger side, and we were walking together for maybe not like half a block, and it wasn't immediately like I wasn't like this is a homeless person, and to this day, to this moment right now, I still don't know for sure. But
when they're right on the border.
But she kind of just goes, "You got $5?" And she asked me so casually, and I was like, "I'm sorry." She goes, "Do you have $5 I can have?" And I was like, "I
kind of respect the ask.
I do. Yeah. You're right.
She just kind of like that was like the third or fourth question she asked. She just moved it to one.
Cut right to the
So
chase.
you got it or not? Like, were you fucking around? Come on.
And then it made me feel like a bad person because again, like I couldn't tell. And in my head, I was like, yeah, she's on her way to the office. I'm giving her $5 for morning coffee. She didn't have cash, whatever.
Yeah, that's
and
what it was.
but it's like,
That's exactly what it was.
but that made me think. I was like, I think I'd be more apt to give money to someone who has a job.
has it. Yeah,
than
to them.
someone like I'm like
Yeah.
oh yeah, you need a couple bucks? I got you.
I've done it like where, so I'm exactly the same, where I'm too nice. If I have it and they ask, I can't be like, I don't have, I'm not going to lie. I can't lie. I just have to be like, do you exist?
You got me. I do have it.
What'd you see? There's not much of a bulge. What'd you see? So if they ask, like, and I've done the same thing. The first time that I was in Los Angeles, we were visiting with my family, and I was like 18 or maybe just almost out of high school, and I had some cash or whatever, and it was like a line of just people who were just like, can I get some? Can I get some? And so you walk like a block, you hand something, you walk a block, you hand some. Yeah. And in like $3, you are homeless. Yeah. And
you turn around, you ask them.
Yeah. It's just those guys they were tourists yesterday, and now they live here.
I've seen a guy one time, and I like to think of I think we've said this before, where a homeless guy's first day on the job.
That first day's gotta be tough. You're like, well, I'm gonna start begging for money.
That is the worst.
No friends will take me in. I can't get a job. It's officially time to write one of those signs and ask for money.
Everyone's first day is always awkward, and you're like, nice to meet you, I'm John. But like, you're working with just like bad people.
You're practicing your handwriting. You're figuring out.
Should I go with the joke? Should I say I'm a veteran?
Where you guys going to take a break around here? Like, dude. But I saw a guy once. Mean. I was coming home. I was taking the train back from Massachusetts, and I think I was getting off at Penn Station, and like I think I saw the moment where the guy was like,
"I'm homeless."
He was like, "Yeah." All right, I'm homeless, and because he was, it was like it's a weird feeling watching someone's soul break, like, and he was fairly well dressed. I've done a whole story on this guy, like in my head. I've planned his life. Like he moved to the city, like Madonna, like $12 in his pocket, and he was like, I'm gonna be a model because he's a sharp looking fella, and he was well dressed, and he had a scarf on. Not a lot of homeless in scarves, and outside of cartoons, and he drops his bag, and he just laid down, and I was like,
that's it.
I was like, that guy was done. It's like,
committed to the life.
I was tired of auditions. I couldn't afford headshots.
Once your back hits the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that actually is the good. Has your back ever been on the ground? No, you still got some energy. Oh man. So your break was America's Got Talent? Was that
that was man, it feels so like, when was your break, kid?
Yeah.
When did you
hit it in this business?
When did you? Yeah. So 2015, I did America's Got Talent. We were filming here at Radio City. That was the last season before it went over to LA.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was a young Catholic boy, so I was,
you were out of money. You didn't leave Radio City. There's like too many homeless guys.
It just happened. That was 8 years ago. So. Oh man, I'm so bad at math. 24, 23.
Hell yeah, you're as bad as math as me. I like that.
Yeah, dude, that sucked. I hate how much time that took.
The math this guy can't do sometimes really is staggering. He'll pause, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You really don't know the answer yet?"
I use my fingers, man. I get it.
Dude, the other day, my daughter's 7, and I had to like sign off on her homework, and it was math, and she had the number, and then it said, like, how did you get to the answer? Like, show your work.
Yeah.
And she wrote, it said, how did you get your answer? And it said, I used my fingers. I was like, fuck yeah.
That's the best answer.
You want an answer? There it is. That's how she did it.
She's honest.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw a viral fucking whatever. I hate that word.
Viral? We're out on viral?
It's just everything's viral. Want to know why I was out on it? I saw 2 things recently. One, I was watching Luther. Great show. And he's unbelievable. But they were talking about a serial killer or whatever who was using the internet, and he was like live streaming murders or whatever he was doing, and they're like, he's going viral, 30,000 views. I was like, that's a bad Instagram post. You gotta delete that shit.
Re-upload. It didn't do good.
I'm trying a few new hashtags on this one.
Yeah, you're getting suppressed by Instagram, man. Give me a break.
That's not viral. Dude. That's embarrassing, dude.
Look at your shit.
Well, that murder wasn't even worth it.
When did they write this episode? A lot has happened.
It was an older one.
Okay,
it was an older one. But then I was reading this article, and it called this TikTok viral, and it had 67,000 views.
Yeah, no.
And I was like, no.
Everything
on the internet isn't viral.
I think the bar is million. I think you have to be.
Yes, I agree with that.
I think anything else is
and
just
even
like that was a big video.
And even that, I think most people have no idea what you're talking about.
Gotta be like several million.
I think like something's viral is like if it's like almost become part of pop culture.
Yeah,
now.
I agree with
Where
that.
Like
People are watching it right now. It can't be like a few years later, you hit 1 million.
Yeah. Right.
You have a window of time.
Yeah.
And it's got to hit a certain number, and then you're good.
Yeah.
So it was 8 years ago. So
Yeah.
that's like 2015.
Yeah.
Was that like a TV break, or was that do they have like an internet presence as well, or was it still like I got on television and that put me in everybody's household and that put me on?
That was
now it's like questionable. It's like, should I even do TV? Should I focus on digital? Like, do those shows have the same effect? I think like 2015 is probably right around where it still was like you get on television, you get a lot of fucking eyeballs.
Yeah. I mean, I think the viewership right around then was right around like 12 or 13 million or something like that.
That's viral.
And that's viral. It's a few times viral.
Yeah. But I feel like
30,000. He's going viral. Dude, I would love to be that guy. 30,000.
I feel like early on those shows,
My mom. What? My mom's here.
those shows at one point, American Idol, America's Got Talent, X Factor, whatever, weren't they doing like? I think American Idol was doing like 100 million, wasn't it? It was like 30 million, 50 million.
I feel like
they were monsters. I
feel so embarrassed now.
Fuck, that's like
nobody.
That's like a fucking group stage of the World Cup.
You're Finland.
The Finland of comics. But it shows, man. I like that. I mean, you get on in front of that many people, like.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy because so I lost the show. That's how I say it. I don't say coming in second. That's ridiculous. Anybody gets to second and is optimistic.
I don't know. In those shows, I don't think I would say I lost because time and time again we've seen the second place guy. Or
yeah, I guess that's
famous.
true. But I just feel like when it's crazy because that show it does have a lot of eyeballs, but it I think the subscribers that I had right after then was like maybe 60,000 on YouTube because I was already trying to develop a lot of stuff while the show was going on. But even just before it, I was doing a show, and so most of the following or most of the audience that I tried to build was always after the fact. So a lot of people think that it came from doing the show, and yeah, there's the credit and there's maybe some recognizability of that, but for me, it was I mostly built it afterwards. So I think it was when they started to make their shift from focusing on Twitter to Instagram. You can go back and see in America's Got Talent my season, they were like, and follow them on Twitter here, and you don't see that anymore. Now it's like someone's Instagram or their Hey Now or whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean that Twitter's the worst.
Yeah, Twitter's done, dude. People talk to me all the time. They're like, "Why don't you tweet anymore?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm not trying to get canceled. Yeah, I'm not gonna trying to roll out of bed and get canceled, right? Where I had some thought at night, and I was like, this is funny, and then I go to the gym and come back and I'm canceled.
Yeah,
one of my favorite quotes to this day still is this is years ago, but Clooney was asked why he doesn't have a Twitter. And he went, because I like to drink at night.
that's the most No way he came up with that on his own. Some guy was like, Clooney, I got some.
If anybody ever asks you, here's how you say it. That is true, though, man. You mix those two things up, you can get in trouble.
That was the cause of my hangover anxiety for a few years. Yeah. It was like you wake up and it used to be like you're in college. You're like, what did I do? What did I say to somebody?
What did I text?
Bro, I would first. I would be like, I don't think I'd have to like work up my courage to check Twitter. But what did I say last night? What did I say last night? It's like,
And if I ever check something again, like if I when I used to drink, which is so funny that it's come down to this. It's like That's true. When I used to drink a bunch. Drink a bunch. Sorry, do I sound like a kid who drinks? When I used to drink a bunch.
He's like a guy who grew up in Vegas.
It's not even like a lot. I just mean like when I had a few drinks. But I didn't want to say when I had a few drinks, so I said a bunch. Like, fucking asshole. I've never drinked. I sound like I'm trying to relate to people who drink. Yeah, when I would hit the alcohol, when I tapped that bottle. So I would do like you'll post something late at night, just exactly like either on Instagram or something like that. And here's the thing: is usually the next morning, you still find it funny, but no one else. You know, like I think like I never at least had a regret, but I did always check in. And I was like, and I was like, man, that was stupid, but that made me laugh though.
I was the same way. I never I don't think I ever had something where I was like, I don't believe this, I'm deleting it. Like everything, I was like, it's pretty good though.
Yeah. I believe it. But there's different, there's different times for like nighttime posts can be different than morning reading. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, come back to this in 12 hours, you'll laugh too. You know what I mean? Like, these are different times of the morning. It's like certain things, certain topics.
I remember there was one time I was dating this girl, and like I think she was on the West Coast. I'm bad at math and time zones, so like whatever. The time zones were fucked up.
So long distance relationships are killer.
Yeah, and it was like I had sent like a nude being shit faced up late, and
she's like, I'm getting out of work.
Replied, what the fuck? It's 6 a.m.
Exactly, dude.
I'm like, my bad. Sorry about that.
She's at the gym before work. You're sending a picture of your balls.
She's eating an acai bowl. Fucking what the shit?
No, I mean... there really should be I know we like Mark Cuban had cyber dust for the tweets delete. And Snapchat has the thing where they delete because like no matter day, night, morning, 6 a.m. whatever, the sexting time period, both people's brains are fucking whacked, you know?
Yeah.
And then if people like when celebrities get their tweets or their texts leaked or you read Tiger Woods and shit like that, and it's like, well, these sound ridiculous now.
We're in a courtroom.
But yeah, of course it sounds crazy that he's
the lighting's not right.
She wasn't wearing a suit when I sent it. I'd have been preposterous.
I wouldn't tell her I want to pee on her now. In the moment, it made perfect sense. Like that's not fair. There should be like a statute of limitations.
She wasn't in a suit. She didn't have that guy standing next to her when we were doing it.
He failed to make it weird. Okay,
you're on the defense stand. You're like, Joey, let me paint a picture. Let me paint a picture. You see a negligee? Here's a picture of Rachel. You can tell. Picture in a negligee. The jury's like, all right, yeah, we're not. Makes sense now.
That shit is not fair, dude.
Well, the scariest shit I've ever seen is when Mark Cuban he had like an interview where he goes, we have a software and it's keeping track of everything you like or do or say. Whew,
dude,
man.
I mean. That's why I've also given up though when people are like the one thing I still haven't done is the DNA like send your spit to a company because that feels particularly stupid but they've got the people who are like you shouldn't like do your face scan and you shouldn't do this and that. It's like brother it's been over.
We lost
it's
a
been
long time
over.
ago.
We had an advertiser who I think we said no to. Maybe we didn't. We like money.
We usually say yes to pretty much anything.
But it was to store our comp.
Oh yeah.
What?
I had that
it was
device.
like
I have that
it was like
my apartment.
We did not say no to them.
Never mind. They are great. Go get them.
No, but it was a one-off. It was a one-time thing.
It was a one-off.
Bro, I will never forget because some
is this a mom and pop?
It's like literally ejaculate into this cup and send it back to us.
You know what?
Sponsors
We'll come to you.
No, they sent it to us ahead of time, which made it double weird because I had no idea that we were about to do an ad campaign for a sperm bank. Essentially, I get this box. It's a big box. I open up the cardboard box, and in it is like a metal and plastic box that looks like something out of like a Superman movie.
It had hazmat stuff on it.
Yeah, like Lex Luthor has like the fucking bomb inside, and it had the little hazmat thingies, you know. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I opened it up, and I feel like it was like, you know, like smoke coming out. And then it had like a cup and like a slot to put it in, and it was like, come in this cup, seal it back up in this box, and send it to us.
Wait, you didn't have? They didn't send you materials? They didn't send you like?
They had to do it on your own, bro.
Dude, that's a bit presumptuous. We have such a sexy presentation. You'll come right away. Right when you open this, you're gonna come.
Yo, you want to talk
You're
about?
lucky if we catch it.
You want to talk about people who have the data and the information on you is, you know, the Pornhub recommended for you sometimes. It's like, Jesus Christ. I gotta scale it back.
It's like
If
almost
that's what's getting recommended for me, we've got problems.
It's like omasaki. It's like if you like that, you'll like this. Like that looks pretty gross.
Yeah,
Like give it a try. Like,
wait.
Actually, you're right. It's delicious.
Yeah, they know better than you know.
Wait, why didn't you do the cum sample? Because you guys got producers?
Yeah. I mean,
It felt weird to do on air.
I guess it was just to freeze your sperm.
Wait, yeah. What was the ad like? What was the ad that had to happen?
think
Was it like
a sperm, like you know, getting older, freeze your eggs, freeze your sperm, sort of thing?
Yeah, that's what it was. I forget what it was called exactly.
But it
I
was
think
like
Daddy was in the name.
The whole thing.
Daddy was in the name?
I think so.
Yeah, it was.
It was like you can do it from home now, because I think I would imagine
It was peak COVID. We were taking that.
yeah.
The campaign was like, you don't want to touch that remote in that room.
Yeah. You don't want to go jerk off in a closet with a magazine. So
Not going back to that again.
Do it in your house, but that's equally as strange to be like, Mr. Mailman, here you go.
That's amazing.
One thing we have been talking about doing for years now, and we finally got to commit to it and do it, is we wanted to get our testosterone levels tested and see who the biggest Nancy boy is. Because I think it's going to be who's the best of the worst, really.
Yeah, I was getting.
I say that, but you're going to have high testosterone.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I'm sterile.
But is it? You might be sterile. But is that testosterone? I don't really know what testosterone is.
I don't really know anything
either.
about the human body.
Yeah, I feel like testosterone is more like
thought it was
you're a big dude. You're a manly guy. You don't grow any hair. That's a little weird.
I thought testosterone was just like a state of mind.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm so testosterone.
I've always felt like I had the most, so I don't need science to tell me. I have got alpha energy and a beta body. Yeah. So
Is that it?
that's it. I think so.
We had a campaign going for a little while where we were the beta boys. When alpha first became a thing, I was like, we are not alpha. We are beta and fucking proud. And then next week, the guys from Silicon Valley, the TV show, were on the cover of like some very famous magazine and said beta boys.
Oh, they ripped
Cease
you.
and desist, motherfuckers.
They ripped you.
But
dude.
they can do it because they're like smart and actors, and like we're just lame. Like we're just like,
Yeah, you guys aren't even beta yet.
Yeah. We're
What's
not in
before
beta.
beta?
whatever that
You're
is,
embryo.
whatever C is.
We're embryos. We're embryos to beta.
I don't know. I've heard that like all the sperm is like dying, and that's just what I
Just
heard.
all of the sperm.
No, I just yeah.
all your
Mine's-
sperm.
I thought you were laughing at the way I
mine-
said how I heard it. Yeah, I just heard it.
I heard from
committed
some
a-
guys that the sperm's dead.
A genocide on my future children.
I mean, I know. I've got swimmers. I have kids. I know that, but I don't even know if that's high testosterone. I'm so not filled with testosterone. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You can just feel it. They said that smoking cigars helps your testosterone.
That cannot be true.
That
makes you feel like a man.
did
So you
not-
start thinking like a man, and then you get testosterone.
So I'm
That's the
saying,
only way it works.
does not stop
'Cause
me from
otherwise,
smoking
it's probably
cigars.
horribly fucking bad for your body.
I'll say this: one of my most beta moments ever came smoking a cigar.
Bert?
Huh?
At Bert's thing?
No.
Oh,
no.
because that was that. Remember when we didn't know how to smoke?
That one was bad. This one was worse.
Wait, I gotta hear both of these.
Yeah.
This one, I was on a ski trip with our buddies, with Cons.
It's already beta.
And he was in the army. Ask him, he'll tell you. And
Don't ask. Just be in a room with him. I'll tell you.
and a bunch of we were up like in upstate New York, up where West Point is. So a bunch of his buddies who are like coaches there and shit. They all came to the house, and we're out smoking cigars by like the fire pit. And man, I was probably me and like 5 veterans. Just dudes, right? And like they're not, it's snowing, they're not even wearing shirts. And I get like 3 I get like 3
So I
puffs.
start sucking them off.
I get like 3 puffs into my cigar, and I am like, zooming.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this at all. But we're by a fire pit that's that's like dug into the ground, so it's not like a fucking up under. So I'm just standing there, dizzy, trying to figure out how I can drop my cigar and
get it
kick
under the fire?
into the fire, so I don't have to keep smoking it. And
then be what? Like, oh, I dropped it into the fire?
fucking no, son of a bitch!
There's no way you'll have
That's all
another
right,
one.
guys. I want you to
Yeah.
waste another one on me. And I fucking drop it, and I think I fucking like Doug Flutie, like the drop kick, and I think I'm about to nail it, and it just fucking like hits the other guy in the foot. He's like, "Did you just kick that?" Like, no. I'm gonna go inside with the girls and help cook dinner.
I didn't know this story either. That's unbelievable. No, I didn't. Dude,
Ran inside.
that is bad.
Go to a woman. They know what they're.
What's that? Yeah, I'll be right there. No one said
need
no.
help with the macaroni and cheese.
Ah.
Okay, I'm coming.
Chicks, sorry,
Make a mean
boys.
buff chick.
Wait, so what's the Bert thing? Because Bert always dude, you have to know how to smoke a cigar if you're gonna hang out with Bert.
Well, so we didn't. I don't know how to. We got lucky enough. We were in Nashville at the same time, and he had a big after party at Zany's, and they shut like the whole place down. And I think just because he's Bert and there's a bunch of like important people there, they were like, "We're smoking." Because I'm pretty sure Zany's was like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Cigar smoke everywhere."
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what they were gonna do to get that smell out, but it was just like whatever. You know what they all did too? They all stand there and hold it up like this, which is
cigar?
considerate. Because like, I just don't think people like
Oh,
the girls and people who aren't smoking stuff, they want it in their face, so they're just talking like
Yeah.
this. And I was like, I don't care how much I like something. If I had to stand with my arms over my head, I'm lasting about 10 seconds. But Bert has, like the finest cigars. And at this point, we're very lucky. Like we know Bert very well and hung out with him a lot. But this was like one of the first times, so we're like, we got to put on a good showing.
Yeah.
So Bert Kreischer offers you a cigar, you got to say yes. And I think they were passing around a clipper, but
Yeah.
we didn't know that. And so John's trying to bite it off, which is even, I think if you're going to do that, you really got to know what you're doing. And he's like eating it like a fucking stick of beef
Pickle.
jerky.
Yeah, dude.
And there's just like leaves in his mouth and tobacco everywhere. The cigar is mangled. And I was like,
I look like a cartoon. A stick of dynamite went off in his mouth.
like expands. And he's like trying to smoke it. It's not staying lit, obviously, because it's been chewed on. And
It looked like in a rainstorm. It was soaking wet.
absolutely awful. I remember him being like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, can I get rid of this now?
I
It's probably
think
the
if
first
you-
time I smoked a cigar since the other incident.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even know that you. Yeah, I'm surprised you even. I think I actually did say no because I was like I would rather be a pussy and say no and have you guys be like you fucking loser than be the guy who's like talking with fucking leaves in his mouth.
But if I saw
think,
that,
I think it was a
though-
bad showing for both of us.
If I see a dude bite off the end of a cigar, I was like, I have not smoked as many as that guy.
Yeah, well,
You know
that's
what I'm
the thing.
saying?
I feel like if you can, that is what you do when you're in a jam, right? If you know how to do that, you're probably like an aficionado. But when you
Yeah.
don't know how
It's like
to do
someone
it,
who pops off their shoe to take the cork out of a wine. Like, oh,
Yeah, I got
on the
it.
wall a few times.
that's near a little too good. This stuff.
The trashiest way to get there.
Are you
but-
a cigar smoker?
Yeah, I smoke every once in a while. I love it. Like a lot of
guys-
comics, they go to coffee shops to write or whatever. I go to a cigar lounge. I
Really?
love it. I love it. It's my sanctuary.
Really?
So yeah, so I'll go. But it's not that like I'm every time I'm writing, I'm always there. But every once in a while,
I feel like I always think I'm gonna like it, and
Yeah.
then I'm doing it. I'm like, I hate this.
I get so fucking buzzed, and I used to chew tobacco. It's not like I have an aversion to nicotine.
Yeah.
But like I get
Different
like
animal.
3 puffs into a cigar, and I'm fucking flying.
yeah. If you drink and you do a cigar, it'll mess you up pretty quick. Or if you don't have a good meal under you.
I always think
Yeah.
it's just so. I always think back to like the first people who come up with these things, who are like, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna roll it up in paper, I'm gonna light it on fire and suck on it, and it's gonna be awesome. And
that's gonna help your
$1 industry and kill a bunch of people. It's gonna be fucking amazing, man. Good for
Yeah,
you for
man.
coming up with that.
It's
shit.
not, but that's honestly most of the posts I see on Instagram now. Like Norman, Bert, Bill, everybody's just smoking.
Dude, it's cigars and MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're totally fucking men. I swear to God. We're not performers who are,
Make sure you tell those guys who bullied me in high school what I do now.
I don't do sound check. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
We're all just fucking theater nerds at heart, basically. Give me a fucking break. I've heard you kind of categorized as the stuttering comedian. I don't hear a stutter at all.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks.
Or are you just a fucking liar? What's going on here?
Yeah. I had an injury when I was 20 years old. It was a softball injury. So I had it.
So this was like later in life.
Yeah, I didn't grow up stuttering.
That's
I didn't grow up.
tough.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Some people say it's tough, like having it later in life. I hear like there's always like moms of kids who come to my show who are like, my son is growing up right now and he just doesn't know what to do.
I was gonna say,
he's bullied.
at least
He doesn't
you're
know
adults,
who he is.
you know?
Yeah, at least I was equipped with like knowing who I was before. You know what I mean?
Right.
To figure it out. As a kid growing up, I truly couldn't imagine. But yeah, when I first did, so I had that injury when I was 20 years old.
Can I ask
I had
what
a
happened?
softball. Yeah, I had a grounder to the throat, which fucked me up. But the bigger the injury, the bigger the two injuries was when I fell back and I hit my head on the ground, and my brain hit the back of my head and then went to the front of my skull again.
Sloshing around, yeah.
And so I had the diagnosis they gave me was a major concussion with a minor vocal contusion, and so it messed with a lot of the motor skills and my speech and my hand. Like I had to really like over the years I've had to really try and seek out like extra holistic methods and just, like the amount of therapies that I've been in to try and combat it. And it really made me realize, as much as I've tried stuff over the years, the more comfortable that I've just gotten with it and just like not tried to fight so much of it or not tried to be so hyper aware of people caring about it.
Yeah.
That's for whatever reason been the most remedial effect. Is
Wow.
just me just feeling like fuck it, like it doesn't define me or whatever.
And then you stutter less because of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
It's
it's
just
just-
like it's not. It's a physical thing, but there is a huge. It's a
neurogenic stutter is
Yeah.
what it is. But that was at first they thought it was physiological because of the softball.
Right.
Only years later, when I got a bunch of scans back with this neurologist, and he's like working with me for the chemicals and the brain scans, and he's intense, and he's like, you got to cut out carrots and like that guy. Like, okay,
Tom Brady?
It's Tom Brady. I work with Tom Brady, and he was just like, you just didn't heal your brain properly. There's no wonder that your progress has been stifled. You've still got like a lot of inflammation in your brain, which someone telling you that is like,
How do you
scary.
heal your brain properly?
I did the ketogenic diet and then antipsychotics and brain exercises.
I don't know anything you just said.
Yeah, no, those words made sense to me.
Well,
Good
he's-
for you. I don't know anything you did.
I didn't either. So when he's saying all this shit to me, you're like, damn. I have to like. It's a huge lifestyle change. But I mean, I've done.
That's a permanent thing, or like in the moment you just
No, you
heal,
heal.
like,
You can
go
heal
back.
it. The
Yeah.
brain, the brain's neuroplasticity is.
If you can
is
say
amazing.
neuroplasticity, you have crushed the stuff.
Thank you, dude. Thank you, dude. That's yeah.
You have annihilated that shit.
And
I can't say it.
I still don't know if I said it, but yeah, it's an amazing thing, and just hearing a lot of inspiration from like there's people we don't even know about who stuttered, like Paul Rudd and Steve Harvey. Like the brain is something that's capable of healing. You just have to give it the right fuel and the right tools to be able to do that. So over the years, people knew me from when I did America's Got Talent. Like I talked a lot about it, made a lot of self-deprecating jokes about it, and now it's not even so much something that I talk about it because I don't want to be known as like the stuttering comedian.
Yeah.
I just want it to be like, oh, that's something that happens to be a part of who he is,
Sure.
or his past, but it doesn't define.
Was it at some point when you were on stage? Was it like again, you're talking like fine in this whole interview. Was there a point where you were on stage and you're like struggling, or was it always like you were able to?
Yeah, no, I struggled a lot on starting out. Like for the first however many years I stuttered. In fact, like I had this huge defense mechanism. Like when you go in on someone who's not even like heckling you, you're just like, what the fuck you saying? They're like, just ordering, dude. Like I would love more nachos. And you're like, So and I think like when I meet other people who stutter, like. We're always just like hyper aware of all of everything all the time, and I think that my challenge was always just mitigating the fact that if someone was saying something or if someone was asking something, it was never really coming from a hostile place. It's not like it's just people are curious or things can happen in the room and stuff. So it's been something that like when you have like shit that happens in the room or whatever, stuff that happens like off the cuff, that's just because my brain's working like 3 or 4 times fast enough, but my mouth is just not like there, you know. It's just there, so it's just trying to get that speed to match each other.
You know, it's funny. I think I have the opposite. My brain doesn't work, and my mouth just keeps talking. Shut up, mouth! Stop fucking talking.
The thought will get there soon. Just let me vamp. Let me vamp.
Just say everything that comes to my brain immediately before giving it a single ounce of thought, whether it's a good idea to say it or not. The anti-stutter.
So this like. I released a special release recently, and it was 40 minutes long, and it was just 4 jokes. It was about Dahmer, vaccine, homeless, and abortion. Real family friendly stuff. And
That's so
the
you
big
just like
4
10
right
minute
there.
chunks almost.
pretty much. I mean, I didn't
Wow.
divvy it up that way,
That's a
but
cool
it just
way
ended
to-
up being
yeah,
40
yeah.
minutes. So, and I don't really talk about. I addressed the stutter once, and that's just kind of like, you know, whatever. You might know me because of this, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the shit's just about stuff that has nothing to do with that. Just
Right.
because, you know, yeah, to write like self-deprecating jokes about it and talk about it, like, you know, people can know that that's well within your wheelhouse, or if that's your thing. But you want to be able to show people that you can do other stuff.
Dude, that's
And it
crazy.
wasn't good,
Brain
so I
bouncing
couldn't.
around like that. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I
not
just
something you feel like you're gonna. I'm like, you know, you're playing a softball game. And you're like, I want to make sure I don't like twist a knee or roll an ankle or
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
have your brain.
I
smashed into your
decided at a
skull.
very early age. I was probably one of the few people who was actually pretty athletic as a child, and at like 7, I was like, I'll play outfield.
I'm not taking
Dude,
grounders.
I saw
Yeah.
a kid. We were doing warm ups. Our second baseman. I was playing shortstop at the time. Our second baseman took one hopper to the face, and his tooth was stuck
Through his lip?
No, not through. Like, it came out because it was like still baby teeth. So it came out, but it was in his lip, and I was like, I'm playing center field.
Yeah,
Get me the
I'm
fuck
gonna
outta
camp
here.
out under this ball and catch it.
yeah,
We're good, man.
yeah. It's
Did the guy who hit the ball did he feel like a total asshole?
yeah. She was.
She was an asshole.
I don't even remember. I don't remember anything about that day. I only remember things that people told me about that day. And so, you know, this whole thing, they could just be lying. They're like, I walked into
was
traffic and
actually
they're
a
like, yeah, you
horrible
drank.
incident.
There's actually a homeless guy
you
with
gotta
a bat
stop.
guy from
Somebody
behind.
gun butted you. And that was it.
Gotta stop drinking and driving. Yeah. What are you talking about? You're an alcoholic. Right? No. It was a softball, right? I wasn't even on the field. It was just a softball. I got mugged.
I mean, I had a thing with my brain once where it was sagging a little bit, and just that alone, like the headaches I had from just like.
Wait, how do you fix your brain sagging?
I had a thing in my spine. They fucked up. They were supposed to give me a cortisone shot, and they like went too far, and they
Oh,
punctured. They punctured it, so like, you know, your brain is kind of floating in fluid, like the perfect amount of fluid. And then when I had a hole there, some of that fluid started to leak out. So your brain starts to, like, it's like connected, I guess, and starts to like pull on the.
Oh
brain.
my God.
And I just remember like going home being like, they're like, you know, you might have some discomfort from the shot, but ultimately, like, I had some other back problems. The cortisone was supposed to help it. A couple days you'll feel better, and I was like, boy, those, like, they did not prepare me for the like discomfort afterwards. And then like days went on, and I was like, this is fucking bad. And if I just flipped my head upside down so the sagging stopped, everything instantly went away. So I just laid.
You bought one of those ab things you hang in a door?
Yeah.
Give me that shit, man. I just hung upside down for like a day, and they were like, you got to come back. We'll fix
Jeez.
it. But my point being that that's a fraction of what that sounded like, and it hurt. Like, if you have something going on with your brain, it probably fucking is bad.
Well, I mean, first of all, having someone tell you, like, it sounds way worse than the result of your brain sagging. Like, a saggy brain.
It's not great, right?
It just sags.
It's also very perfect.
Do you got
for me,
anything
you know
on your
me, it's
body
like
that-
everything's saggy?
Yeah.
Even my internal organs are just like, no. My muscles, my bones, my brain.
Kevin's whole body's like a Dolly painting.
I'm a melting candle. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's. I mean, anything with the brain. I've learned that the brain is. I've read a lot about it, and the brain is like something that there's just little effects. Like I've tried so many things. Like people are, you know, you hear like Rogan. Like Rogan will have these guys on. Rogan will have a guy on who's like, yeah, I did mushrooms and
Yeah.
I did acid and I clinged to a tree, and I'm like, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that relinquishing that sense of control.
It's crazy how little they still don't know about brains. Like, as much as they figured out, I think they're still kind of like, we don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck's going on with
Yeah.
that.
I always had a problem with that one when we were kids. Like everyone
Oh,
was
did you?
when they were like, you just use 10% of your brain. I'm like,
Oh,
there's,
yeah,
I'm like, there's no
that's
fucking way.
fucking made up.
There's no way.
There's no way that there's just other 90% just chilling.
Like, how do you even know that I only use 10% of my brain? Then what's the frontal temporal lobe
You're
do?
only
Yeah.
using your 10% to deduce that I.
Right, so how could you even know that?
You don't fucking
Right,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's false because I'm using 100%.
This is as
My brain
much as it
sags
gets.
from how much I use it.
Except the math part. The math part, that one's a little tricky. I gotta use my fingers too.
Brain and fingers.
Yeah. So yeah. So that I can't. Oh man, I can't remember what we were asking. Why did you need the?
I just have a bad back and a bad. Well, actually, it's funny that I was in a softball game playing with Barstool.
See, I'm noticing
Yeah,
something,
out of
dude.
doubt.
And I had a bad shoulder already that had been operated on, and we were getting our asses kicked in softball. Wait, this was kickball.
Kickball,
right?
kickball, yeah.
We were getting smoked in kickball, right? So
In his defense, it was on a softball field.
it was on some we played in
Very similar games.
You realize how much you just crushed me, dude? I was ready to relate so hard. I was like, dude, there's a common enemy. And you go, no. Badminton.
Badminton.
What's the one with the... That was cricket. It was cricket.
Bro, we were getting our asses kicked. These teams, we just figured, I don't know, you play kickball. We played in elementary school. You just go out there and kick the ball around. And, as an adult, you kick the ball in the air every time, and they just catch it, you know. So these other teams knew to kick it down, and you kick it down the third base line because you can't make a throw all the way to first. And
Which
they were
I-
just getting on first, they were just getting base hits. We couldn't even get out of the inning, and then we'd get out there 1, 2, 3, we're down. We sucked.
I maintain it's better to not know how to play kickball
Agreed.
than it is to know how to
you
play
guys are
kickball.
fucking losers. You guys out here have a
You got
coordinated
kickball
attack.
strategies.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man.
But they were
What, you kick it
running
up?
the score. Yeah. And every time we popped it up, they were like, "These rookies." But so then we were I'll never forget. Afterwards, our boss Dave, we had a little huddle up, and he was like, "All right, our only chance here is chaos on the base path. So if you get on base, just keep running. Just try to, because we're not gonna get any more hits." And I remember I got a base hit, and I round first, and I'm trying to get in a rundown almost. You know what I mean? Just we're hoping they throw the ball around. It's our only chance we're gonna score, and I end up sliding back into first with my shoulder, and it pops out. And I was I knew in the moment, I was I'm gonna need surgery, I'm gonna need rehab, this is gonna be a 6-month thing, and I was just standing on a fucking kickball. Because it came out and in, it hurt like a bitch, but it wasn't I was oh no. And I just remember being there yeah, no, I'm out for 6 months. See you guys later. Fuck kickball. That moment of I cannot believe I just ruined the next half year of my life for this. You know?
Yeah, it's just such
And I
an
remember also
innocuous
having to
thing.
tell these guys, I was I can't play anymore because they were you dislocated your shoulder playing kickball.
Kickball,
Does anyone have a gun? Anybody have a gun?
Dude, I love that your coach's tactic was chaos on the base path.
Because I remember, so that phrase stuck in my head.
It sticks in my head.
Because I was in this rundown, and right after that, when I hurt myself, he was like, "Well, what were you doing? What the fuck were you doing?" And I went, "Chaos on the base path." And Dave went, "Oh, you're right." He's that was. I did say that. He goes, "Your fault."
That's exactly what that is. That's chaos on the base path. Dude, that's the most badass shit I've ever heard. About the softest shit I've ever heard. Chaos on the base path. That's a tat you
Or
put
a
right
biker
here.
I
I got a belly tat.
actually.
Chaos on the base path.
That is fucking hilarious. So now you're out in LA just doing the circuit out there.
Doing the grind there. So here I moved out to LA to do acting, and I had I had loads of shit lined up the week that I was scheduled to do all this stuff is the same week that the injury happened. So I had all these I was in with rooms. I had a casting director. I was so young, and I was sent out for a lot of young stuff. So I was in with I was doing stuff for Disney and Nickelodeon. I had all these callbacks lined up for whatever that parrot
20-year-old?
yeah, dude.
But 20-year-old with abs.
Whatever that parrot movie was, that was what I was going in. What? Rio. That's it. That's the one. Oh, thank you. There's my young wife. She's of age.
Let's work on that, bro. This is my young wife.
She's got all the testosterone.
He's my child bride.
It's my child bride. Jesus.
And child bride is just another way to say the word young wife.
Child bride sounds so much worse.
There's somebody like out in Utah right now being like, that's good.
Child wife.
Yeah, it sounds like a compliment.
So yeah, that was, and then so that was what was the most like devastating. Like I grew up like doing like theater. I went to performing arts high schools. That was like the whole game plan, and I never ever wanted to do stand up. I always admired it as like an art form, just kind of in the periphery. I was like, man, that's cool that you guys do that. I worked at a comedy club. Just to have as like a perfect night job, so I could have like my days free to audition and stuff. So that was kind of how that happened, and then just
wait. So you were working there as like a not going on stage, or like working as a bartender, waiter,
I went up twice
doorman,
at the open mic, and I bombed my ass off. So I was like, this is just not for me.
I mean, I don't think that's for any.
Yeah, I still don't think it's for me. That was how, and then it just kind of worked my way up. One year I did like 101 different stages. I wanted to do different stages, like just different places, just to set like this quantitative goal for myself. And then like the next year I did like 500 sets. Like all my personal life was just going to shit. But that's because I was trying to like make sense of this injury happening. I was like, it's got to be, there has to be something. So that was why, like, even setting my goals to like winning the show when I did it, it was just like in my head, I was like, oh, this will make it all make sense. This will make it all feel justified.
Who'd you lose to?
Ventriloquist.
See, fuck that. That's like I think there are some people who go on that show and they have like a beautiful voice or a great stand-up act, and those are like the normal like talents that we know. And then it's like, oh, I like put like a carrot up my nose and out my eyeball. It's like, I won't
Get back with the freaks.
Yeah. Go to the circus, you fucking loser. This is television. This is showbiz. Like there's too much apples to oranges on that show.
It is. It is hard.
What the fuck is this about?
It is hard. And to be honest with you,
I can't compete with a magician. I don't know magic. I just tell jokes.
And and to be honest with you, like it's exactly how do you compare? Because I saw several people on my season who I was like, oh, that dude's gonna win, because that's just incredible. And even the dude who won wasn't the one who I was like, oh, that dude's gonna win. So it's hard to really say. But yeah, so now I'm so glad that I could be here, because like you guys just squeezing me in. I go to Atlanta to film this week, just filming another. So I'm doing 4 specials this year, just mini specials. Where so the first one that I did, where I told you about all that material, that's all impersonal, and then this next one's gonna be like more personal, and then I think the third one we'll do a crowd work special, and then the fourth one I think is just gonna be all injury stutter related, like just talking about that shit.
That's great.
Yeah, just kind of set a nice little goal
that
to
that's
work that
a
way.
way to do it. I have like a batch of 4 that kind of all
kind of has like a theme in each. So
little like time capsule sort of shit. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
When and where?
Oh, thank you, just random person in the studio. That's a great question. Our audience is here. I'm shooting a Center Stage Theater in Atlanta, March 25th. And I think the first show sold out, but they got a second. Yeah, the Saturday.
Oh, great, dude. That's awesome.
So that's kind of.
Are you gonna go back to?
Can you get tickets?
Oh, sure. You can get tickets on my website, Random Stranger. You can get tickets on my website at truelynch.com.
We need one of these.
And also box sperm. We come to you we'll send you a box. You say
and their competitor come in a cup. Yeah. The 2 big titans of the industry. Come in your come out. That's great, man.
Come in a cup.
I love it, man. We're gonna go next door and do a little answer the internet. You down?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, I don't. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll do it. It'll be good.
Okay.
You'll be good.
All right,
Thank you
sweet.
very much.
Make sure you subscribe to KFC Radio on YouTube to get all the video content. Subscribe, comment, like, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever new video content drops.
I want to say something, but the video has to be faster. That's it.